A very good morning to one all gathered here. I welcome you all for this gracious event. Prayer. A day without prayer is a day without blessing, and a life without prayer is a life without power. Now I would like to call upon Ms. M. Dharani, second B.Ed, to present welcome address.
A very pleasant morning to one and all gathered here. Honorable authorities, faculty members, and dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to extend to you all a warm welcome. On behalf of our management, principal ma'am, and faculty members in peer group of institutions, I would like to welcome our honorable chief guest, Mr. N. Jayakumar, MSc, MPhil Chemistry, M.Ed, MSc, Pharmaceutical Chemistry, PGDCA, Assistant Professor, Department of Physical Science, alumni, NPOCE. We are grateful to you for accepting our invitation and becoming a chief guest of today's event. Welcome, sir.
Welcome.
Once again, I welcome you all.
Now I'd like to invite our honorable chief guest, Mr. N. Jayakumar sir, to address the gathering.
Very good morning to most respected Chief Administrative Officer, the principals of NPR College of Education, NPR College of Arts and Science, NPR College of Engineering and Technology, NPR College of Polytechnic, and NPR College of Nursing and Research Institute. I am very happy to take this opportunity to give a webinar to NPR College of Education students as a former assistant professor of NPR College of Education. I am very happy to run this webinar regarding through librarians sir as well as principal madam and AO sirs. So thank you one and all. Shall I start the class, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Madam, good morning, madam. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning.
Yes, shall I start the class, ma'am?
Okay, carry on.
So once again, good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
At least one or two questions, please switch on the mic and then please respond, okay? Okay, before that, I'm going to ask some questions. Do you remember in which last year took the census in India? Yes, actually my question is, students listen, do you remember in which last year took the census in India? Census. மக்கள் தொகை கணக்கெடுப்பு எப்போ எடுத்தாங்க தெரியுமா?
2011, sir.
Very good, Pam. Bhubaneswari, very good. Okay, yes. Why I am asking this question means it's related to our topic. Okay. So another one question. Do you know the disability population level in India? Anybody know? Disability populations. First of all, we should know the total population of India. Then from that, we should know disability population. Anybody? நான் என்ன கேட்கிறேன்னா மக்கள் தொகை கணக்கெடுப்புல வந்து disability population level strength தெரியுமான்னு கேட்கிறேன்.
Dear students, if you know answer, otherwise say don't know, sir.
Okay, yes. Actually, as per 2011 census, 121 crore people live in India. From that, 2.68 crore people affected by the disability. So totally 2.21% of disability people lived in India. So why I am telling this disability means it is very important term regarding our topic. Okay. So from that 2.21% of people, the various types of disability people are there. For example, in seeing disability, பார்வைத்திறன் குறைபாடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. That means 19%. Then hearing disability 19%. Speech disability 7%. Movement 20%. Mental retardation 6%. Mental retardation is nothing but mental healthness. மனநலம் குன்றியவர்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Then mental illness, same point. Then any other disabilities. Then multiple disabilities. Multiple disability means more than 2 or 3 disability affected by the people. That percentage is 8%. These are some percentage level of disability population in India. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. Actually, 3 important terms involved in the learning disability. So first one is impairment. Second one is disability. Third one is handicap. So what is the meaning of impairment? குறைபாடு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழ்ல. Any loss or abnormality of psychological or physiological and anatomical structure or function that is called as a impairment. For example, problem with structure, otherwise organ of the body. Example, hearing impairment. செவித்திறன் குறைபாடு, செவித்திறன் குறைபாடு. Then visual impairment, பார்வைத்திறன் குறைபாடு. Then walking impairment. For example, loss of limb. Limb means the கை கால் சொல்றது பேரு தான் limb சொல்லுவாங்க. So this type of any loss of organs is considered as a impairment. It's considered as a impairment. Next is a disability. Disability, I already know the disability population level in India and the percentage level also. Okay. So what is the meaning of disability? Disability means Tamil இயலாமை சொல்லுவாங்க. So any restriction or lack resulting from the impairment. Actually, the disability arises from the impairment. Disability arises from the impairment of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the range considered normal for a human beings. Those who are affected by impairment, they are not able to fulfill their activities. So it is considered as a disability. For example, the hearing disability, vision disability, speech disability, so many disabilities there. So generally, disability means impairment in organ, impairment in body organs, the loss of organs, plus inability to perform certain tasks like normal persons, plus lack of ability to perform day-to-day activities. That is called as the disabilities. So the impairment, disability arises from the impairment. Okay, the second time is over. Third one is handicap. Handicap na Tamil ஊனமுற்றோன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. நம்ம ரொம்ப கொலாய்க்கு நொண்டி நொடம்னா சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ அப்படி சொல்லக்கூடியதான் மாற்றுத்திறனாளிகள். ரொம்ப ஜென்டலா சொல்றதுக்காண்டி மாற்றுத்திறனாளிகள் சொல்லிதான் சொல்லணும். ஏன்னா அவங்க வந்து they are having a full capacities, skill and various development skills they are having. So they are called as handicap. தமிழ்ல மாற்றுத்திறனாளிகள் ரொம்ப டீசெண்டான விட மாற்றுத்திறனாளிகள் அல்லது ஊனமுற்றோன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So what is the meaning of handicap means a disadvantage for a given individual that limits or prevents the fulfillment of a social role that is normal. They are not participated in the society as usual as like a normal person. That is called as a handicap. So example of the physical handicap, visual handicap, hearing handicap, speech handicap, etc. These are the three important terms involved in the learning disabilities. What are they? Impairment, disability, another one is a handicap.
Handicap.
Are you able to follow up, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Anyone tell what is the meaning of impairment? What you are understanding about the meaning of impairment?
Loss of organs, sir.
Loss of body organs. Loss of body organs.
Body organ. Yes, sir.
Yes, very good, very good. There are any other students? What is the meaning of disability? Students, please respond. Otherwise, it is not nice. உங்களுக்கு என்ன தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு டிசேபிலிட்டி என்ன தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு I am unable to do the activities just like that you have to tell something. Any others?
Impairment of organs, sir.
அதாவது any restriction from the impairment.
Yes,
any
sir.
restriction from the impairment. Okay.
Okay,
that is
sir.
Disability. Okay. Next, handicap. Students, once you understand these three terms, it is very useful to the next slides. What is the meaning of handicap? So handicap means they are not able to fulfill their social role in the society because of due to disability as well as the impairment. That is called as a handicap. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay, next. Shall I present the presentation? These are the contents in the learning disabilities. So learning disabilities, then types of learning disabilities, identifying children with disabilities, approaches of learning disabilities, inclusive education, special education, and integrated education. These are the contents in this webinar. Next, so what are the objectives of this webinar? For example, each and every classes student teacher should explain the main objectives of this class. So in this class, a student teacher will be able to explain the meaning of learning disability, explain the meaning of learning disabilities, classify the learning disabilities, identifying the children with learning disabilities, describe the approaches of learning disabilities, define inclusive education, special education, and integrated educations. The first point is here, the meaning of learning disability. LT means learning disability. It's a short form. Learning disability is LT. Okay. Shall I explain?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it is a neurological disorder. Learning disability is a neurological disorder which causes difficulty in the various aspects of learning. So neurological disorder means it is a medical term. So all the learning disability terms are only involved in the medical terms. Various terms are involved in the learning disabilities. So neurological disorder means it will affect the brain as well as the spinal cord. It will affect the brain as well as the spinal cord. Those who are affected the learning disability, they mainly affected the brain as well as the spinal cord. From that, they are not able to perform a normal students. Next, learning disability affects the LSRW skills. LSRW skills already, I think already all know about what is the meaning of LSRW skills. What is the meaning of LSRW skills?
Listening, speaking, reading, writing.
Reading
sir.
and writing, sir.
Listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. So these
Yes,
are the four essentials for each and every people. Then computational skills. What is the meaning of computational skills? It is a mathematics, arithmetic skills. For learning process, the maths very tough to most of the people. For example, including my maths is very tough because of I am not interested in mathematics. I am not love the mathematics. So that it is some examples. So computational means mathematics, otherwise arithmetic skills. But mathematics is very easy subject. Those who are loving the subject, it's a very important point. Then learning disability is not due to deficiency of intelligence. So what is the meaning of intelligence? Listen, all are having intelligence. So only the difference vary based upon the person to person, but all are having intelligence. Intelligence ratio, intelligence level, all are having intelligence. The intelligence having a lot of meaning. That means the capacity for abstraction, logically understanding, self-awareness, learning emotional knowledge, resourcing, planning, reasoning, planning, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, etc. These are the activities related to the intelligence. Those who are normal person, these are activities definitely they will do based upon their level and age. Then learning disability are lifelong process. It is a continuous. So it is the main reason is the learning disability is a neurological disorder. It is a neurological disorder. Yes. So learning disability refer to a number of disorders which may affect the acquisitions, organization, retention, understanding, use of verbal and non-verbal information. So what is the meaning of acquisition? Nothing but to gain, otherwise to develop skill, learning of something, that is called as a acquisition. For each and every person to acquire something, for example, acquisition, that is called as acquisition. Then organization. Organization means the action of organizing something, planning, otherwise arrangement, etc. These are the organizations. If a teacher is teaching something, how to correlated with the, from previous to current, that is the organization. Then retention. Retention is nothing but it is a continued possession, otherwise use, otherwise control of something. It is called as a retention. For example, I am asking, do you remember in which last year take the census? Means some students tell the answer. This is the retention. The retentions. Then understanding. The understanding means the grasping capacity, the ability of grasping capacity, otherwise perception, that is called as a understanding. Then use of verbal and non-verbal information means how they are using the verbal as well as the non-verbal information. The how they are using in verbal and non-verbal information. Are you able to follow? Students, are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Please note it down. These are the main types of learning disabilities. So types of learning disabilities classified into various categories. These are the four main types: dyslexia, and dyspraxia. So all are some The words are confusing. Dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia, all are medical terms, not the normal terms. So it is only derived from the medical terms. Dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and dyspraxia. First of learning disabilities. Yes. So dyslexia means the reading disability. I already told disability is nothing but disorder. இயலாமை, அவங்களால முடியல, செய்ய முடியாது, அந்த மாதிரி மீனிங் தான் disability. So dyslexia means reading disability. Based upon the age, they have some potentiality about the reading the news or books, etc. So dyslexia is a reading disability. Then dysgraphia, writing disability. Writing disability means ஒவ்வொருத்தருக்கும் கையெழுத்து எப்படி இருக்கும். For example, handwriting is very important for each and every person. If you are loving your handwritings, it is very good. Otherwise, it's not good. உங்க ஹேண்ட் நீங்களே விரும்பினா தான் அது நல்லா இருக்கும். இல்ல நம்ம ஹேண்ட்ரைட்டிங் சரியில்லை அப்படின்னு நினைச்சா நல்லா இருக்காது. Then dyscalculia, it is a computational disability. I already told computation is nothing but arithmetic, otherwise mathematical skills. So they are lacking numbers, numerics, etc. Then dyspraxia, actually dyspraxia word come from the, that means affecting the fine motor skill. A fine motor skill is nothing but the movement of the physical organs, the movement of the physical organ. This is the dyspraxia, affect the fine motor skills. Please anybody read it. What is the types of learning disability?
Dyslexia, dysgraphia,
Tell
dyscalculia.
Listen, pa. Listen.
Dyslexia is a reading disability. Dysgraphia is a writing disability. Dyscalculia and dyspraxia is affecting the fine motor skills.
Yes, very good. So listen, you are the future teachers of future teachers. So you will find out those who are affected by the following disabilities: dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and dyspraxia. It is a very, very important role for different types of learning disabilities. So based upon the experience, based upon your perceptions, you can find identifying the children. Now we'll discuss one by one briefly. What is the meaning of dyslexia? Dyslexia general meaning means reading disability, reading disorder. So dyslexia or developmental reading disorder is characterized by difficulty with learning to read fluently and with accurate comprehensions despite normal or above average intelligence. Actually, even though they are having normal intelligence as well as above average, they are trouble to read fluently. In normal life, they are trouble to read fluently. Otherwise, they are trouble to understanding for each and every sentences. This is a dyslexia. Even though they are having a good intelligence, they are good intelligence, average intelligence, and above average intelligence. Those who are low intelligence, they are not able to disorder. So dyslexia means difficulty in learning to read or interpret words, letters, and other symbols, but they do not affect the general intelligence. Listen, students, intelligence ko dyslexia ko sambandhame illada. There is no relation between the intelligence as well as dyslexia. They are having some, for example, more than above intelligence, above average intelligence. For example, intelligence 140, 160 plus. Albert Einstein is having more than 140 intelligence, but they are affected by the dyslexia. Albert Einstein. At the end of the class, I will tell some personalities, those who are affected by the disabilities. Dyslexia is the most common learning difficulty and most recognized reading disorder. Generally, you are meaning dyslexia means a reading disability due to the nerves, due to the neurological disorders. So, what are the examples of the dyslexia? The mixing of sequence of letters. For example, those who are affected by the learning disability, especially dyslexia, means they read it there. So the next, they have very poor handwriting also. Distorted words and numbers. Distorted words and number means they alter the words from the original. Then different spellings for the same word. For example, sun. Sun rises in the east means they are putting the S-U-N. S-O-N putting. Okay. Then missing out, adding extra letters sometimes. For example, written went actual spelling is W-E-N-T, but their written is W-H-E-N-T. Their thinking capacity is very less. Then writing mirror images of letters means writing B for D and B for Q and vice versa. In their mind they reflect B word as a Q. The spelling and writing usually are very hard for people with dyslexia. They are not easy to remember the wordings as well as the spellings of the words. Those who are affected with the dyslexia, it's very, very hard for remembering the spelling as well as the writing. So it is the dyslexia. Students, are you able to follow?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Dysgraphia, this is a physical disorder which expresses itself primarily through writing or typing, although in some cases it may also affect the hand-eye coordinations, the direction or sequence oriented process such as tying knots or carrying out a repetitive task. For example, dysgraphia means writing disorders. If your hand is very smart, means your hand-eye coordination is very good. Otherwise, your hand is not smart. Your hand-eye coordination is not in proper way. It's not in correct way. Correct way. நீங்க எழுதும் போது உங்க hand and eye coordination is very must for your writing process. That those who are affected by the dysgraphia, their hand-eye coordination is very worst. Just like you are having a lot of experience about the dysgraphia. அப்படியே blackboard அவங்க கீழே பார்க்காமலே எழுதுவாங்க somebody's. அப்படி எழுதும்போது என்ன ஆகும், hand is very worst ஆகும். அந்த paragraph sentence எல்லாம் டிஃபரன்ஸ் ஆகும். இதுதான் dysgraphia. For example, trouble organizing thoughts and putting them into the writing. For example, they are thinking in the mind, but they are not able to put in the paper, but paperல வராது. So அப்படி வந்தாலுமே wording வரும், spelling வராது. That is the dysgraphia. Then unreadable handwritings. They are worst handwritings, not able to read properly. கோலிக்கு இருக்கிற மாதிரின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழ்ல. So அந்த மாதிரி எழுதுறது unreadable handwriting சொல்லுவாங்க. Then slow laboured writing. Laboured is writing is nothing but those who are very tired due to various actions, otherwise acted means ஏனோதான் எழுதுவாங்க. For example, after lunch they are writing very worst handwritings due to some heavy lunch, otherwise some tiredness. It is the laboured writing. Then odd spacing of words and letters. Each and every sentence having some meaningful way. If you are not giving space, proper space means this is meaningless. Proper space and for punctuations, it's very important. Then poor spelling and grammar, trouble with grasping a pencil correctly. They are not hold the pencil or pen correctly. Then run-on sentences and lack of paragraph breaks. These are the examples of a dysgraphia. The images of the dysgraphia. Listen, students. Now discuss about the dyslexia and dysgraphia. Anyone tell what is the meaning of dyslexia? What do you understand?
Sir, it's difficulty with accurate comprehension.
Yes, very good. Yes. Anyone tell what is the meaning of dysgraphia?
Writing disorder, sir. It may also affect hand-eye coordination.
Very good. Those who are affected by dysgraphia means their hand-eye coordination is very worst. So because of hand-eye coordinations, the handwriting is very worst. Okay. Shall I move on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another one is a dyscalculia. Dyscalculia means computational, otherwise arithmetical skills. So dyscalculia is a difficulty in learning or comprehending arithmetic, such as difficulty in understanding numbers learning, how to manipulate numbers and learning facts in mathematics. Actually, the maths, initially the maths is very important subject. Those who are not understand the maths initially, they are not able to follow in the futures. So maths வந்து நம்ம விரிவு படிச்சவங்களுக்கு ஈஸியா வரும். ஸ்டார்டிங்ல இருந்து ஸ்கூலிங்ல இருந்து காலேஜ்ல இருந்து விரும்பி படிக்கலாம் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். Especially for the disability, dyscalculia people வந்து they are very worst in the calculation. For example, numbers and arithmetic calculation, they are worst in calculations. For example, grasping the meaning of quantities as well as concepts like biggest to smallest. For example, they are not having an idea about the volumes, liters, grams, just like that. Then understanding the numeral 5 is the same as the word 5. Remembering math facts in school like timetables, the counting money or making change, the estimating time. So time is very important for the various examinations. For example, in competitive examinations, they are asked so many questions from the time factors. What are the speed of the train? What are the speed of the bus? So from these calculations, the arithmetic is very important. Normal person நம்ம இந்த மாதிரி இதெல்லாம் சரியா பண்ண முடியாது. So those who are affected by the dyscalculia, it is very worst in the learning process. These are some clippings of this dyscalculia. Then dyspraxia. So dyspraxia is nothing but this word coming from the apraxia. That is apraxia. This is a neurological condition in tasks involved balance, fine motor control, and kinesthetic coordination. They are always different peoples. They are not able to follow the routine tasks, just like the physical movement. They are not able to follow because of their neurological disorders very high. Difficulty in the use of speech sounds, problems. Listen, those who are affected by the speech disorder. Speech disorder means they are not able to speak correctly. It is called as a dysphasia. Another one term is a dysphasia from the dyspraxia. Dysphasia means a language disorder. Those who are not able to correct speakly, dysphasia. So these are some examples of dyspraxia. So handwriting, drawing, painting, doing jigsaw puzzle, using cutlery and pronouncing words. That is called as a dysphasia. Abnormal postures. They look like a normal persons, but they are not keeping some ethics. Fat, the trouble learning new skills, organization and planning problems, difficulty writing or using keyboard, lack of confidence. Those who are affected by the dysgraphia means they affected a lack of confidence. So this is dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia and dyspraxia. Okay. So what are the reasons for the learning disabilities? What are the reasons behind the learning disabilities? These are the three important reasons for the learning disabilities. Number one is heredity. Heredity means related to genes, genetics. Then problem during pregnancy and birth. Overbleeding during the pregnancy may also affect the children. Then accidents at birth. These are the main reasons for the learning disabilities. Are you able to follow, students? Students are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So those who are not respond this in this class, please tell the what are the 5 different learning disorders, learning disabilities. You also include the dysphasia. இது வரைக்கும் ஆன்சர் சொல்லாதவங்க மட்டும் சொல்லுங்க. Please try. So students, anyone? So what are the learning disabilities we will discuss? என்ன பார்த்திருக்கோம் இப்ப? So listen, dyslexia is a reading disorder, dysgraphia writing disorder, dyscalculia arithmetic disorder, dyspraxia. The dyspraxia word coming from apraxia. It is a kinesthetic disorder, otherwise movement disorder. Then dysphasia is a language disorder, otherwise speech disorder. Are you able to follow, Pa?
Yes, sir.
Yes. யார் ஆன்சர் பண்ண மாட்டீங்க? சார் மட்டும் பேசிட்டு இருக்க மாதிரி இருக்கு. Next, we will discuss about identifying children with disabilities. Identifying children with disabilities. So now you are all appointed as government teachers in various places. Okay. This is the first day class. This is the first day class. Just you imagine that all are appointed. Almost you are finished the BEd degree course. Okay. Now you are clearing the examinations. Now you are appointed as a government teachers as well as a private teachers. So in this first class, you are facing some students. So how will you identify the disabled students? Do you have any idea? பார்க்கும்போது எப்படி நம்ம கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது? லேர்னிங் டிசபிலிட்டிஸ், இவங்க லேர்னிங் டிசபிலிட்டி இருக்கு இல்ல எப்படி கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது?
டல்லா தெரிவாங்க சார்.
டல்லா தெரிவாங்க. ஓகே.
பாடி போஸ்டர் வந்து டிஃபரண்டா இருக்கும் சார்.
பாடி போஸ்டர் டிஃபரண்டா இருக்கும். ஓகே. அடுத்து So listen, a teacher must speak. எல்லா பேருமே ஆன்சர் பண்ணணும். அது மேபி ரைட் ஆர் ராங் ஆன்சர். They don't bother about your answers, but you have to involve in the discussions. நீங்க அப்படி இன்வால்வ் ஆனாதான் உங்களுக்கு அடுத்தது பேசுறதுக்கு ஆர்வம் வரும், பேச முடியும். இப்படியே தயங்கிட்டே இருந்தா பேச முடியாது. உள்ள மனசுல பயத்தை வச்சுக்கோங்க, பட் வெளியில வந்து காமிக்க கூடாது. சொல்லுங்க. எனி அதர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்? இது 2-3 பேர் தான் சொல்லிருக்காங்க ஆன்சர்ஸ். இதுல நான் பார்க்க முடியல யாரா சொல்றாங்க. சரி, அடுத்து ஆன்சர் போதுமா? என்ன சொல்லணுமா? நான் சொல்லிட்டேன், நீங்க எல்லாம் நல்ல பெரிய ஸ்கூல் டீச்சர்ஸ் ஆகிட்டீங்க. அப்போ உங்களுக்கு வந்து இன்னும் நிறைய சம்பளம் கொடுப்பாங்க. எஸ், ஓகே. சோ these are the 4
கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணையில தெரியும் சார் ஸ்டூடண்ட்.
கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணும்போது தெரியும். வெரி குட், வெரி குட். அடுத்து எஸ். Actually, now why I am asking this question means teacher is a role model for each and every students. So you should initiate, you should motivate the students, those who are affected by lacking some problems. Maybe learning disability or maybe some personal problems, otherwise maybe some unwanted problems. So first of all, you should identify and recover the students. It is very important role. நீங்க பாடம் நடத்துறீங்களோ இல்லையோ, இதை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நம்ம இது பண்ணோம். ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் இந்த டீச்சர் இன்டராக்ஷன் இஸ் வெரி மஸ்ட். First, once you are mingled or interact with the students freely, easily, it is very easy to approach the classes. Okay. So these are the four approaches for identifying children with disabilities. First one is the cognitive approach, sensory approach, disability based approach, and social approach. So what is the meaning of cognitive approach?
Mental approach, sir.
It is a mental approach.
Mental approach.
Yes. Actually, cognitive is word derived from the Latin words. Actually, most of the educational terms derived from the Latins. The cognitive means is a தமிழ்ல அறிவுசார் கட்டமைப்புன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Each and every person having some cognitive structure. எல்லாத்துக்குமே அறிவு இருக்கும். மூளையில கண்டிப்பா எல்லாமே ஒரு அறிவு இருக்கும். So how they are used, how they are interpreted in the by wordings or by actions, it is very important. Okay. So cognitive approach means based on the belief that one's intelligence reflected in all what he or she does, based upon their actions, activities, he will decide that it is a good person, it is a normal person, it is a disabled person. So meaning of the cognition means the term cognition is derived from the Latin word cognoscere, which means to know or to recognize or to conceptualize. This is the meaning of cognition. The cognition is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thoughts, experience, and senses. What is the meaning of cognition? Throughout the experience, throughout the thinking capacity, we have improved our knowledge. We have improved our knowledge to know more concepts. So these are the IQ level of the persons. These are the IQ level of the persons. So I already told the Albert Einstein is having more than 160 plus IQ, more than 160 plus IQ, but he was affected by the dyslexia. They are not able to read fluently in the beginning stage. So for example, listen, this question is asked many times. What is the intelligence level of levels? For example, 55 to 70 is mentally inadequate. Mentally inadequate, 2.3% of people are affected by the mentally inadequate. Then 70 to 85 considers a low intelligence. 70 to 80 is a low intelligence. 85 to 100 is a average intelligence. Then 100 to 150 is a above average. So average and above average, it's covered more than 68% is covered. Okay. Then 115 to 130 is a high intelligence. 130 to 140 is a superior intelligence. More than 140 is a exceptionally gifted. Exceptionally gifted. For example, many scientists, many inventors, so many examples there. So the below average students, it's very important to the teachers. So what are the methodologies? What are the tactics followed in their features? It is very important. These are the intelligence levels. So based upon the knowledge, their actions, we have decided the learning disabilities. This is the cognitive approaches. So cognitive means knowledge. Then sensory approach. Now பார்க்கும்போது தெரியும் சொன்னாங்க அது மாதிரி we already know what are the six sense organs. So disability could be identified measuring their sensory abilities, visual acuity, based upon the disability percentage. Based upon the disability percentage, you can identify the those who are affected by the disabilities. For example, so less than 40%, 40% disability is considered as a normal. Now it considers a normal percentage, normal persons. So more than 40% disability, more than 40% disability considered as a disability. Less than 40% disability means as a normal teacher, we can face the problems, we can teach anything, we can modify the behavior of the persons. But more than 40% of the disability is not possible to as a normal teachers. So special teachers is essential for those who are affected by more than 40%. That is a sensory approach. Now பார்க்கும்போது தெரியும் உங்களுக்கு சரி பண்ண முடியாது. Based upon the disability percentage, அவங்க எவ்வளவு அஃபெக்ட் ஆயிருக்காங்க, எத்தனை percentage அஃபெக்ட் ஆயிருக்காங்க, அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் நம்ம வந்து we can teach anything, we can do any actions regarding the disability levels. So listen, more than 50, more than 60% of disability means it is not possible to carry in the normal schools. They need special schools. They need some different schools. We'll discuss later. Okay, this is sensory approach. Then hearing ability, speaking ability. These are the based upon the sensory approach. So these are some kinds of disabilities: visual disability, hearing impairment, speech disorders, motor disability. Motor disability is fine motor skills, movement. Then autism. Autism is nothing but it is those who are affected by the autism, their social interaction of the person is very, very low. ரொம்ப ரிசர்வ் டைப்பா இருப்பாங்க, அவங்க யாரும் மிங்கிள் ஆக மாட்டாங்க, பட் லுக் லைக் நார்மல் பர்சன்ஸ். அவங்க ஆர்டிஸ்ட் தான் அஃபெக்ட் ஆகுது எப்ப தெரியும்னா நம்ம இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணும்போது, சோசியல் இன்டராக்ஷன் பண்ணும்போது மட்டும் தான் நம்மளுக்கு அது ஆர்டிசம் இருக்குன்னு சொல்ல முடியும். Then cerebral palsy, this is also a neurological disorder. Tamil perumulai vadam solluvaanga, perumulai vadam. So this type of disabilities affect the learning process. Then mental disorders, purely mental healthness. Then delinquency, delinquency is minor criminals, those who are under the age of 18 considered as a delinquency. The mal behavior, the antisocial behavior is considered as a delinquency. Could be judged in terms of one's participation in social activities of daily life. So this is a disability based approach, based upon the disability. We can see which type of disability they are affected by the persons. So based upon that, we can identify as a learning disability students. Then society based approach. So in this society based approach, priority is given in the identify people with the maladjusted or delinquency behavior. I already told it is related to the disability based approach. Juvenile delinquency means several antisocial behavior of children and adolescents are referred as delinquency. Under the age of 18, it considers a minor criminals. Okay, they look like a normal persons, but are having some antisocial behavior due to some family situation. Otherwise, so many reasons is there. So those who are affected by the mal behavior, maladjustment, it's considered as a society based approach. So how they are acting, so for example, each and every student acts in the society, they consider as a good student, normal student, a normal person. Based upon that, we can identify as a disability, learning disability. This is a society based approach. So these are the 4 approaches of the identifying children with learning disabilities. What are the cognitive approach? Sensory. Cognitive approach means is knowledge based. Sensory approach means is a the visual based. The visual based disability based means based upon the percentage level. Then society based also related to the disability based approach. So these are the 4 approaches of the identifying with children with disabilities, learning disabilities. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what we are discussing in the up to this, what is the meaning of learning disability? What are types of learning disability? Then what are the approaches of learning disabilities? Just to remember, I will give 1 minute. Just to remember what we are discussing the up to this. Just to remember, recall panni paranga. The meaning of learning disability, types of learning disability, and approaches of the learning disabilities. Next is the inclusive education. Do you have any idea about this inclusive education? Students, please tell. Do you have any idea about inclusive education? I am asking question. From the picture also, you will tell the answer.
All children in the same classroom, sir.
Very good. All children.
Education for all.
Yes, education for all. Tamil அனைவருக்குமான கல்வின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, அனைவருக்குமான கல்வி. So not only disabled students, listen students, normal students, disabled students மட்டும் நம்ம மெயினா நான் வச்சிருப்போம், பட் அவங்க மட்டும் கிடையாது. Inclusive education means all type of students. For example, well economical, poor economical, roadside students, urban students, rural students, tribal students, so many students is there. Okay, so all are mingled in a same classroom. It is called as the inclusive education. அனைவருக்குமான கல்வி, education for all. So now we will discuss the meaning and the meaning of inclusive education. So what are the aim and objectives of inclusive education? Means education for all, the protection of rights. Protection of rights. Listen guys, do you remember, otherwise do you know the fundamental rights in Indian Constitution? Do you know the fundamental rights in Indian Constitution? Protection of rights in ketirukangala. So how many fundamental rights is there, pa?
6 fundamental rights are there, sir.
Do you know what are the 6? 6 is very correct. What are the 6 fundamental rights?
Right to equality.
Yes.
Right to freedom.
Very good.
Right against exploitation.
Yes.
Right to freedom of religion.
Yes.
Educational rights.
Cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights. Next, last one. Right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. What's your name, pa?
Vanilla, sir.
Super, very good, very good. So these are the 6 fundamental rights: the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation. Exploitation means சுரண்டலுக்கு எதிரான உரிமை. For each and every person is considered as equality. So right to freedom of religions, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. skills. Teacher role is the identification of the skills of the students. It's very important. Development of social consciousness. Develop social consciousness for each and every person, like a student as well as a teacher. We focus on social consciousness, social development, what they are going, current scenario, what they are going in India. Now the 2 years on the corona, this is the main issue, main important factors is corona. These are main factors. So how they are safer from the corona? So they maintain social distancing, taking the vaccines, then prepare for new challenges, development of brotherhood to improve quality of education. These are some aim and objectives of the inclusive educations. The meaning of inclusive educations. Inclusive education is defined as learning environment that promotes the full personal, academic, and professional development of all learners, irrespective of race, class, color, gender, disability, sexual preference, learning styles, and languages. Here in this race means different type of people. For example, in India, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, North Indians, continental Asian, African, Europe countries. These are the race. So all are in one place. It is the inclusive education. They should not focus on the race, class, color, gender, disability, sexual preference, learning styles, and the languages. Okay, all are equal. So all are equal. They are giving equal opportunities. The inclusive education is an integrated approach to take care of the needs of children with special needs. So learning disabilities in the form of dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, or attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD, or behavioral concerns, slow learners, partially hearing impaired or visually impaired children need special education. We already discussed what are the types of learning disabilities. So this type of learning disability students should need inclusive education. Then, okay. Next. So what are the key provisions for inclusive educations in Constitution of India? Do you know what are how many articles and parts and schedules in the Indian Constitution of India? Anybody know? Key provision is nothing but what are the source for inclusive education in India. My question is, do you know how many articles, how many parts, and how many schedules in Indian Constitution of India?
395 articles, sir.
395, okay.
22 parts and 8 schedules, sir.
Yes, this is the previous. Correct. This is vanilla.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Actually, this is previous. You told the previous. Now, modification 445 articles plus 25 parts plus 12 schedules. Just now, current as September 2021, 445 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules. Okay. So listen, in the Indian Constitution, listen, these are the general information about the Constitution of India. What are the relations with the disability as the Constitution of India means? As a student should know how to relate the points to the Constitution of India as well as a disability. This very important. Disability Constitution of India, we should know. So for the Indian Constitution, UK, the maximum based upon the UK, England, then USA, Ireland, Australia, France, Canada, Soviet Union, Weimar Republic, South Africa, and Japan. So the articles. Who is the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution of India? Who is the chairman of drafting committee of Indian Constitutions? Indian Constitution chairman, Constitutional chairman. Who was the head of drafting committee? Other is chairman of drafting committee. Dr. P.R. Ambedkar is the drafting committee chairman. Listen, students, this is very important. Please go through the various sources. Okay. So come to the point. Here, Article 45 and Article 21A is important in the key provision for inclusive education in Indian Constitution of India. So Article 45, free and compulsory education for all children up to 14 years. Please note it down, up to 14 years. Changed to National Early Childhood Care Education. It is simply ECC up to 6 years age. It is the 86th amendment of Constitutions. Amendment means changing. Actually, before that, up to 14 years, it changed to up to 6 years. Then Article 21A, Right to Education Act 2009, fundamental right of all children aged 6 to 14 years to get equitable, free and quality education. That is Article 21A. These are the key provisions. Then Education for All came in 1990, intensify that large number of vulnerable and marginalized group of learners were excluded from the education system worldwide. For example, in the current scenario, the corona situations, so many students, not only India, throughout the world, they are excluded from the education. Lack of communication, lack of mobile phone, lack of so many places, so many reasons is there. So vulnerable means they are in danger condition, endangered conditions. Marginalized group means, for example, marginalized they are the platform family, parents, beggar, very poor family, இதெல்லாம் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் மார்ஜினலைஸ்டு. அதாவது சொசைட்டில they are very very less in numbers. That is called as a marginalized. It made its vision of education as a broader concept, then schooling including women literacy, lifelong education, etc. The National Policy on Education 1986 and Program of Action 1992 POA ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. It emphasizes on the removal of disparities. Disparities means social stratification based upon the job, based upon the wealth, based upon the family status. This is a disparities, discriminations, வேறுபாடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. And equalize educational opportunities by attending to the specific needs of those who have been trained equally. The National Curriculum Framework 2005, schools need to become centers that prepare children for life and ensure that all the children, especially the differently abled, children from marginal sections, children in difficult circumstances, get the maximum benefit of this critical area of education. So inclusive education means all type of students, inclusive educations, marginalized children, difficult circumstances students, all the students should be involved in the same school. So what are the problems faced by the students? The first one is inferiority complex. The inferiority complex is the worst complex. Is affected by each and every person's individual developments. Okay, ரொம்ப problem பண்ண சொல்லுவாங்க inferiority complex. So the lack of understanding, adjustment problems, isolated, segregated, lack began feeling extra burden, insecurity, lack of expressing, introvert nature. Introvert nature means a shy persons or reticent persons சொல்லுவாங்க. Then negative approach, shyness. These are the problem faced by the students. Students are able to follow? Students are able to follow or not? Up to this, we have discussed about what is the meaning of inclusive education, what are the sources of inclusive education. Okay, next we will discuss about the comparative study of inclusive education, special education, and integrated education. So inclusive education we already discussed. Once again, I tell you, it is a system where all the special needs students as well as the general students get equal benefits, welcoming the diversity of students and changing accordingly. So all type of students are studied in the same place or same school. That is inclusive education. For some examples of inclusive education based upon net source, Lady Andal School, Chennai, Sister School, Osur. Then special education means it is a system of education that represents the needs of children with disabilities outside the mainstream education. For example, Deaf and Dumb School, Mana Madurai, Indian Association for the Blind School, Madurai. Our Empire College of Education, we have a lot of experience about these two schools. Each and every year, we have conducted the field trip to this type of schools. So a lot of experience in the Deaf and Dumb School, Mana Madurai, and the Indian Association for the Blind School. It is special. It's especially for Deaf and Dumb, especially for the வாய் பேச முடியாதவங்க, காது கேட்க முடியாதவங்க, Deaf and Dumb School. The Indian Association for Blind School only for blind school. They follow the Braille method. Up to higher secondary level, they are teaching, and also they are giving some works related to the blinds. Then integrated education is provided within the general classroom where special needs students learn alongside their peers without disabilities. So inclusive education means education for all approach. We are dealing with the comparative study of inclusive education, special education, and integrated education. So inclusive education means all type of students placed in one place. That is inclusive education. Special education means the more than disability ratio, more than 40-50% means they are not able to mingle in the normal classroom. So that the type of students only allotted to the special schools. For example, Deaf and Dumb School, Indian Blind School. Sir, are you able to hear, sir? Lauren, sir? Sir, it is audible, sir. Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir. Now audible.
Yes. Integrated education, ஒருங்கிணைந்த கல்வின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Here, so learning disability students also within the general class, normal students ஓட இருப்பாங்க. So inclusive education means it's method education for all approach. Special education means it's individual centered. For example, based upon the mentally retarded children means teacher ratio is 1:8. Autism students are 1:8. Autism students, but the normal students 1:30, other is 1:40 based upon the class. So integrated education students with special needs are expected to adopt the general curriculums. Inclusive is less challenging for special needs students. Special education is more challenging for special needs students. For example, it is not possible to finish certain age limits. ஒரு 10 வயசுல 5ஆம் கிளாஸ் முடிஞ்சிருக்கணும், 15 வயசுல 10th முடிச்சிருக்கணும், அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது இங்க ஸ்பெஷல் ஸ்கூல்ல. Only based upon the intelligence, based upon the training, practice only they are developed. So each and every step by step they are finishing the education. Takes place within the general classroom, cannot takes place within the general classrooms. Integrated education takes place within the general classroom. So inclusive education as well as integrated education more or same. Only special education only just different from the other educations. So I am conclude the topic. Dyslexia is the most common learning disabilities with ADHD. It is very important disorder. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia. Another one, dysphasia are the other important learning disabilities. Inclusive education enhances the learning process for all type of learners. Yes, thank you, students.
Thank
Sorry,
you, sir.
sir. Lawrence, are able to follow?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, dear students, this session is yours. If you have any doubts and if you want to discuss with our chief guest, raise your question.
So just a minute, sir. I will open my. Yes. Yes, students. Do you have any doubt and question, please ask.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, dear students, this session is related to interaction. If you have any doubts, and this topic also included our CIS paper. So if you have any doubts, raise your questions. For example, the law related to law, you don't think about law is not needed. The teacher must know the law and order.
Sir,
Sir.
have you ever taken class with disability students, sir?
No, pa. Actually, the B.Ed special education is there. Okay.
Sir.
So
Okay,
if you are the same duration, 2 years, B.Ed special and M.Ed special educations. Those who are interested in special educations, you doing the B.Ed special course. Special course they are teaching, especially for deaf and dumb, especially for blind school, especially for mentally retarded. They are having special training. Based upon that, you will teach the students in the future.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
சார் இவங்களுக்கு இண்டிவிஜுவலா யூனிவர்சிட்டி இருக்கா சார்? நார்மல் பர்சன் தவிர்த்து அந்த மாதிரி.
Rehabilitation Council of India, அதான் மேடம் அவங்களுக்கு மெயின் ஹெட். Rehabilitation Council of India இருக்கு, அந்த தான் மெயின் சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்டோட மெயின் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் அதுதான். ஸோ அவங்களுக்கு அந்த யூனிவர்சிட்டியும் கிடையாது, அவங்களுக்கு மெயின் அங்கிருந்து தான் எல்லாமே பண்ணுவாங்க மேடம்.
ஓகே சார், தேங்க்யூ சார்.
அதே மாதிரி யூனிவர்சிட்டி வைஸ் நிறைய இருக்கு. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ராமகிருஷ்ணா மிஷன் யூனிவர்சிட்டி கோயம்புத்தூர்ல இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்பெஷல் கோர்சஸ் இருக்கு. நம்ம தமிழ்நாடு டீச்சர் எஜுகேஷன் யூனிவர்சிட்டிலேயே B.Ed ஸ்பெஷல் கோர்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கு.
ஓகே சார், தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Yes, any other questions? So listen, this is a part of your second year course, creating an inclusive education. First year is learning disability இருக்கும். So and then first you understand the disability, learning disability, then inclusive education. Another 2 more units is there. So you will study in the second year course. Okay.
Thank you so much for your valuable speech, sir. We have gained a lot of information through your presentation, sir. Now I'd like
Thank
to
you,
call upon Ms. Bhuvaneshwari, second B.Ed, to present vote of thanks.
Good morning to one and all. Heather here on this wonderful morning. I would like to present the vote of thanks. We take this golden opportunity to thank the respected chief guest of today's function, Dr. N. Jayakumar, the Department of Physical Science, NPR College of Education, for attending this function in this busy schedule. We will cultivate the advice you have us in your real life. Thank you, sir. I extend my gratitude to the respected head of the department, Principal Ma'am, Mrs. Thamari Chelvi. Thank you, ma'am. My deep sense of thanks and appreciation goes to all the participants who are live with us and attend this webinar with great enthusiasm and made today even a great success. I sincerely thank all the faculty members and non-teaching staff for glorifying this function. Last but not least, I thank my fellow student for enthusiastically arranging this function. Without you, this function would not be a success. Thank you, my buddies. Once again, I thank one and all wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhuvaneshwari.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, James. Vanilla Dharani and Bhuneshwari. Thank you, JK sir.